Hey, Tammy.
Hello.
So, what kind of dudes are you attracted to?
Me. I would say dominant alpha males. That's not usually what's attracted to me, but that is typically what I am attracted to and would like to date or go out with and find. I'm not on social media, but I have tried online dating, and that's been not successful.
What happens when you use online dating? I mean, like, are you able to match with the guys that you're attracted to?
Sometimes, but not often. There's been a couple times where a lot of times they will seem a certain way until you actually get out in public with them or get to know them a little bit more.
Mm.
Um, and I think also a large problem is a lot of men might think that they're dominant or alpha and they're not, or they might present themselves that way, but they're still living with their mom at 43. Another one that I dated had lived in a sober house living, which I think is awesome for him, but he's obviously not ready to date. But
Mm.
he didn't tell me that until date 5.
What,
So,
what is Silver House living? I don't know what that
like
is.
a sober home living.
Oh,
So,
sober home. Okay, so
yeah,
he's
so
an
he's like
alcoholic. Got it.
recovering alcoholic or addict, which
Okay. Do
that's great. I'm proud of him. However, I don't want to date him.
okay.
Um, so
Do you have any kids? You ever been married?
I have never been married. I do have two children from when I was young. They are 19 and 23. They are live in the city on their own in college, one for nursing, one undergraduate for psychology. So they are super smart, but very independent and, not home and in my life all the time, but we're still very close.
Okay. So, what's the ask here? I mean, you're just looking for clarity on why. I mean, you're looking for some help, some advice.
Probably a little all of the above. I'm not sure. I've taken myself off of online dating. I did it for about a year and a half. I'm thinking about jumping back into it, but I'm not sure if maybe I'm using wording wrong or presenting myself wrong. And I've really tried. Like I go to the gym and I smile and I'm nice and I get comments from people. Men that I'm attracted to tend to treat me like their little sister. The last person I dated called me accommodating. I don't know if that is a good thing. That I'm helpful or nice, or everybody goes, "Oh, Tammy's so sweet," but
Sounds
they
like a
don't
friend
want
zone sort of
to out.
thing that women do to guys.
Yeah, but they do. That's what I end up in.
So you
So
don't
they
get.
me is like the sweet, sweet little Tammy. Um,
So are they overtly stating it's because of the tattoos?
no, and I wasn't
And I mean,
sure.
like when you say tattoos all over your body, like you attach some pictures. I'm not going to show them on the screen, but it looks like it's from like neck pretty much all the way down, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
not everything is tattooed, but I have a lot done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like front and back, everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, like, have you looked into trying to get them removed, or is that like utterly pointless because
That
it's
would
so much work?
I did remove, I had some tattoo work on my face, like on the top of my forehead area. I did get that removed. It took 2 years and over $2,000, and it's still not complete. It's still blotchy.
How much did you
Um,
pay for all the tattoos over the time you had your body inked?
I don't really know. And it was a long time ago and in my early 20s, probably too much. A lot of it we would do with like trade. I had a friend that I used to own a hair salon a long time ago. And so we
Mm.
would trade between that. And they were the tattoos in that time, I got a lot of attention for, but because I wasn't raised very properly, I didn't understand the difference between good attention and bad attention.
Hmm.
And and I was just very young and made poor choices. But once I started listening to your podcast and several others, I kind of realized that I think that was something that was kind of holding me back a lot from being able to date, is because, people just, a lot of men just don't want to date somebody that's so heavily tattooed, and it'd be
That, and
impossible.
they've overtly stated that, like they've just said that I'm not into tattoos.
No, I mean, a couple of them have, but I'm kind of guessing that. And it's kind of out of actions. Like I wouldn't have a problem necessarily finding somebody to take me out and want to be with me like intimately. I don't think that is what I would have a problem with. But nobody wants to like take me to parties or take me to a charity event or take me home to meet their mom and I just think after listening to a lot of people and kind of trying to figure out what men are looking for and want and what they desire in a woman, I'm kind of making the assumption that that's a big thing that's holding me back.
Hmm. Yeah. Short of getting them all removed, you're kind of in a tough spot. I mean, like the thing that see the problem a lot of women face is they'll get to your age and they'll say, okay, I just want a nice guy. I just want to. I mean, like, what did you define it as? The guys that you're attracted. Because the way I'm not attracting the type of men that I'm attracted to, and you're defining the guys that you're attracted to as like the high value alpha guys. Like, what's a high value alpha guy in your view? Like, could you
I
kind
mean,
of paint a picture?
yeah, and I'm very realistic, so I know, it's not, I'm not going to be pulling somebody that's, a millionaire. I understand that. But somebody that just has a steady job, somebody that has a decent
Steady
life.
job making how much money roughly?
I mean, I would really prefer over 60 a year. I would like
That's not a
somebody
very
that,
high bar, though. I
I
mean, a lot of
know,
women
but
nowadays are like, oh, he's got to have, 6-figure income.
yeah, I don't think I could be with somebody that makes less than me. I think that
Of
would be
course,
a problem.
hypergamy 101.
It's just I work really hard, and so
Hmm.
I just want somebody else that also works really hard at whatever it is that they're doing, or and just in life in general. It's hard to find somebody that's like that, that's willing to just put in work, whether it's go to the gym or explore a hobby, or if there's something they're interested in, not just talking about it, but actually going and doing it. And it's hard because I've worked so hard, even though I wouldn't call myself like the high value woman, I guess, but I've worked so hard to get where I am at, that I would really like to be with somebody that could at least equal that, if not better it.
Yeah, women don't want to go across and down; they want to go across and up, generally speaking. So, I mean, what you're running into, I'm assuming you're dating guys your age or older.
Yes, I have dated a 33-year-old, and that was actually oddly probably the better one.
Hmm.
Really great guy, owns his own home, motorcycle, boat, truck, it in the petroleum business. And we actually really enjoy one another's company. And I think he likes me and I like him. However, he's been very respectfully honest with me that he wants to get married and have kids,
Hmm.
several kids. And so he would ideally really prefer a younger woman. So in that case, it wasn't the tattoos that were holding me back. It was the fact that I was 40 and he doesn't want to date a barren 40-year-old. And he could absolutely have a 25-year-old girl. So, but
Are you
he's,
finding that with the guys your age too that are in their 40s? Like they're looking for younger women?
it depends. It depends, who they are. So I have found that a little bit in men. Usually, I guess what you would classify as your more high value man, they'll date me. They don't really want to long-term date me. They do
Hmm.
want, younger women. I kind of have a hard time just finding people to even just date. So,
Well, I mean, like once you start going through the dating pool and you realize about half of it or more is going to lean in a direction that you're not attracted to, the guys that you defined as carrying crystals in their pockets with loads of debt with an art history degree. So you cut those guys out of the equation. Then you take the guys out of the equation that have, they're in the sober homes, the alcoholics anonymous, they're living with their moms, they don't make more money than you. They still live with their ex-wives trying to sort through the divorce. They've got 4 small children and you don't want to deal with that. Like you're dealing with a very, 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 very narrow dating pool, right?
yeah.
So for you to kind of like find something that's going to tick off some boxes, you're going to have to cast a wider net and start to make some concessions in areas that you've been unwilling to in the past, perhaps, if you know what I'm saying, right? Because I mean, like most guys that I deal with in the high net worth category, like the guys that are the entrepreneurs, the professionals, the doctors, the lawyers that are making like 250,000 plus, for the most part, they're not looking for women in their 40s, let alone a woman in their 40s that's a single mom with a couple. I mean, your kids are almost adults now, but you're still a single mom, basically, covered in head to toe with tattoos. And one of the things that you've experienced, I mean, if you have to go to an event and there's an evening dress, it's like, okay, do I want to bring, plate one or plate two? Plate two's
Yeah.
got tats all over her and plate one doesn't, sort of thing. So, I mean, there's certain things that you can do. And, I always tell guys, like, try to max out your looks where you can. Like if you're fat, lose the weight. If you've got social calibration issues, work on that. You don't seem to have that issue. You're well written. You seem to speak quite well. It sounds like you don't have much going on that's problematic as far as red flags, except for the whole tattoo thing, which is going to send a lot of guys off. I don't know. I mean, cast a wider net would be my biggest, piece of advice. And if you have the time and money, maybe work towards getting rid of or minimizing a lot of the exposed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, for me personally, you're going to get a skewed opinion because I'm not a big fan of tattoos, right?
Yes.
Never have been, never will be. The way that I've always framed it, and I think I mentioned in my book, I don't know if you read it, but it's like putting bumper stickers all over a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini is a beautiful thing. I think a woman's a beautiful thing. And then when you put them all over the place, and I've got cousins that have tats, down their arms and sort of stuff, and they fade after 20 years and they just don't look good, right? So I've never been a big fan from that perspective. And I think there's a good chunk of the guys that share that same and echo that same sentiment, but there's also guys that love tats. Like I've seen guys covered in tats as well. And I'm sure there's got to be some of them out there that aren't drowning in debt with crystals in their pockets that probably have some money and a motorcycle and a boat as well too, right?
I would hope so. It just seems like that's kind of, that does seem to be kind of, I would say, musicians, people that do a lot of drugs and alcohol.
Maybe try to find those reformed guys that aren't.
Those are the people that tend to, when I'm on dating apps, that will reach out to me and want to talk to me. And that's fine. They could live their life the way they'd like. But it's just not somebody I'd put time and energy into.
Cast a little bit of a broader net and, give a few of these guys at least a sniff test and a coffee date or a drink and see how it goes and see if there's anything that sparks out of that. But I mean, if you're going to limit it very tight, one of the things you said early on too, is you're not really dating that much. I mean, if you want to score goals, you got to get on the ice, right? Put on the equipment, put on the gear,
I did join, that's why I joined the gym 6 months ago. So I joined the gym 6 months ago. I've been trying to volunteer outside of my regular job. So my regular job is just all women. It's almost all women that work there. So if we have men, they're married. So I tried to start doing other volunteer things and go on little 5K runs and stuff with other people and try to be more active. And so I'll find things purposely to try and go do that men will be at. So I tried that as well.
Go and fish where the fish are. They may not be, they may not have the right bait on the hook for you though, right? That's why I said cast a wider net and get out there a little bit more. Hey, listen, I appreciate you, sharing this experience. And if anything, I've warned for a long time, to younger women not to tap themselves up too crazily. And, here we are today, you're 20 years down the road and you're saying to yourself, where do I find guys that I want to be with? Because I'm stuck with guys that I'm generally not attracted to. So, one part of this is there's a lesson here.
Yeah. Not just with men, with career opportunities, it's a huge regret. And if I had a magic wand and could just take it all off and have my freckly redhead skin back, I would. So, yeah, I would definitely, if you're a younger woman watching this, not get tattooed.
All right. Good luck, Tammy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. See you. Ciao.